Welcome back everyone into episode 14. Before we get going, I just wanted to say a big thank you for all the comments and suggestions to the videos that you're leaving. They really help. Without those comments I don't know what to do or what not to do, and especially if you see me doing something I shouldn't do or you want to advise me on what I should do, please leave a comment. I read and reply to every single one. And also please subscribe if you're watching. It really helps me sort of keep these videos going. Okay, so last week you saw me fit the water pump, and that went pretty smoothly. This week I want to try and get the oil pan back on with new gaskets and everything. And if I can, we'll do some other jobs. I'm struggling for time at the moment. I've got so many things lined up, parts waiting to be fitted and reconditioned and stuff. I didn't even get a chance to look inside the engine bay that I promised last week. I'm kind of saving that job for when I'm blocked by the heads not being here. But speaking to the chap who's doing those, they look like they're going to be coming back pretty soon. Which is quite exciting. So let's get going and just see how we got on this week. Right, looking at the Sump gasket now, I'm so pleased with myself, and you'll be proud of me. That screw there, or that bolt there, that was a snapper in all days, but I tried taking it out yesterday lunchtime. I've heated up, hit it with a hammer, put oil on it, repeat, and today I've just managed to get it out after heating. I actually heated the casing in the end down here, thinking that'll expand and let the bolt out, and it did. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm chuffed. So I'm going to have the rest of those bolts out. What I'm doing is storing the bolts over here in the correct order, in case they are ordered in any way. Obviously my cat's been in and just knocked them out, so I need to just put those ones back up the top. But this represents the entire sump like that. So I'll finish it off now, and then we can have a look inside. I want to flush it out with some oil, just sort of clean out the sump basically. Not crazy, but just in case there's loads of bits in there. Put a new gasket on and then put it all back on. Nothing's ever easy, is it? So I've got all of the bolts out, but it won't come off. I can almost hear you chuckling watching this. Something's holding it on. Well, it's just ages holding it on. It's a matter of trying to get it off, and I don't want to try and force it off with something metal. I've got that wooden pole I just tried there, but I'm not really putting much pressure on it at all. So I need to work out how to get that off. It's stuck on pretty tight. I've tapped it all around with the hammer. It's just a rubber mallet. I'll just keep trying, I guess. There isn't much a little bit of heat won't fix. You can probably still see smoke coming out of the holes here. I've warmed it up and then tapped it with a rubber mallet, and you could hear it breaking the bond between the gasket and the metal. So it basically became a drum, and it's just starting to come up. I don't want to yank it in case anything thinks it's still attached. There's still one bolt there, but that's not in, and it's too long to be able to remove, so I had to leave that there. And I think we're all out. I just don't want to yank it up and snap the sump, but I'm pretty sure we're clear. Yeah, we're there. Okay. I remember how to take this off now. It fouls the oil thing. That's quite tricky to see. That's it. Right. Okay, so I'm going to take it outside and give it a clean up. I don't know if that's in focus for you, but quite a lot of lumps in there I can see, but I don't know if it's good or bad. Okay, let's give that a good clean up. We can see the crank. I'll give you a zoom in there in a second. And we'll strip that old gasket off and get the new one back in. There's a quick pan across the crankshaft there. Shout if you see anything alarming. I don't know, obviously. Okay, so I've taken all the bolts that go around this meshing bit here, Then notice there's quite a lot of particles on here, so I'm going to give that a blast with brake cleaner, and it allows me to get in there and sort of flush all that out as well. It doesn't actually look too dirty in there, but I might as well give it a clean out. But this is the main thing I wanted to clean. I might be able to show if I can move that across. Can you see on camera? I'm trying to get it on a clear background or a light background so you can see, but there's quite a lot of bits and bobs on there. Maybe I'm making more out than it is, but I'll give it a flush out anyway. All this can be rinsed out, and I'll just put it all back together basically and put it back on. I need to prepare this surface because there's a little bit, I can feel there's a lot of gasket on there, so we'll prep all that. The one on the engine has still got the gasket on, so I'm going to have to remove that somehow. Right, let's try and work this gasket off now. I cleaned up that, oh, let me just grab it, that gauze. I won't lie, I didn't do it with brake cleaner, I took it in the kitchen sink, but so don't tell my wife. But that's nice and clean now, so that can go back on when it stops raining. Typically the moment I moved indoors, it poured down on top of the sump. So let's try and get this off then. Oh, there we are, right. I was wondering whether I should be doing this upside down so I don't get anything inside the engine. Right, let's just see how it goes. It's started to come off. I've got a plastic kind of, it's a trim removal tool. So it seems quite good for this type of thing as well. And that will come off there, I'm sure. I can pop this down in my bucket. Trying to work out what gaskets and what seals I get in the complete set. I don't know if that means literally it's the complete set, or if there's still some I need to buy. The one I'm looking at is the water regulator, so the bridge has a sort of like an O-ring on the bottom of it that plugs back into pretty much the other side of here, the top end of the engine. And I can't tell if it's in this set or not. I can't find a definitive list of what gaskets you get, what seals you get. And I'm kind of worried that if I find one that kind of looks like the right one and use that, then I've used one that should have been used elsewhere. So, as usual, if you know what it is, please post in the comments. That's pretty tight. So that is clearly, this has been put on with a sealant of some form. I can see residue there, so I'm going to have to take all that off. So I've still got, this engine came with half the engine mounts on, so I've got to take this bracket off. And I think what they've done to remove the engine, they didn't bother undoing the engine mounts. They literally just lifted it and ripped the rubber mount in half. So I'll take that off. And some people have said that you can use Volvo replacement mounts. I've been looking, I can't see them online. Any talk of them is about the newer 9-to-8 mounts. I'm just slowly working around with the razor blade because there's quite a lot of gasket actually on there still. Giving it very flat and just sort of effectively cutting it off. Trying not to get anything go down inside the engine. A little bit went down earlier, but I'm sure that'll be fine. Flush it out. It's soft anyway, isn't it? So it'll burn off or whatever. Unfortunately, I like to sort of pull it away from the engine if I can. But this is coming out okay, really. A big bit there. Actually, I'm not always this awkward. This bit is a particularly awkward bit because of the flywheel there. on the camera. Right, so I'm going to come along there in a minute with some Scotch-Brite. I've just finished the clean up on the gasket. Sump gasket, it's pretty good. I may give it one more whip round just to make sure it's clean. Visually inspecting the engine, and I came across this. If I can get you in there. So looking in the back of cylinder, I won't try and number which one it is, but there's a clip sitting in the back of the actual piston. I'll keep having a look around. I actually found a washer earlier as well, so I'm not sure how they got dropped in there. I'm guessing they were just sitting in the oil pan, and as I've turned the engine upside down, they've sort of dropped back, but I've certainly not dropped anything inside the engine, so that was there already. Right, let's see if we can get that clip out. It's just like a normal Jubilee clip. Quite a clean one. Probably see it as I move the light around. So I'm going to try and get it with a bit of bent wire. If I can. Let's just bend my wire a bit more. Here we go. Look at that. Brilliant. That's what I took out. That clip. Sitting in the back of the piston. So this is me prepping to get the oil pan gasket on. I've just laid it on there, basically just to check it fits at the moment. It's just laying on. What I'm going to do is turn the engine upside down, or up the correct way. It's upside down at the moment. I've got the oil pan beneath it, cleaned up, ready. I will put the gasket onto this surface, lift it up to the engine, and then push 2 bolts through sort of midway along and just put them in finger tight. Then whip round, putting all the others in sort of finger tight. And I mean, as I understand, you leave it really, really loose. So I'm not even going to torque them up. I'll just do it just over finger tight and just see how that feels. But I've read a few tutorials about if you over tighten, you can see because the cork gasket sort of bulges out. So I'll just watch that. Okay, so finally it's gasket day. I was going to put this on 2 days ago, but then I decided that it's silly not to renew the bolts. It's just the M6 24mm bolts, which the local shops don't sell, so I had to order them in. But I've got nice new bolts. When I took the bolts off, I actually did them, I've got them on the side there in the correct order, and a couple of them are 25mm. I think it's, I'd have to check, but I think it's those two and the corresponding ones opposite. They're 25mm, so I'm going to actually put 25mm back in just in case there isn't the depth in the block. And I'm opting to use the gasket sealant. I don't want to do these up tight, so I'm going to quickly just whip around with a bit of sealant, gasket on, lift up, etc. So let me just put this sealant on. Okay, I think this is where I'm going to have to work for my living. I'm going to lift that up and try and get some bolts in it before it drops down. So let's try and do that now. The 2 bolts I'm going to put in, that's the other side. This side, 6th hole, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that hole there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That there. Right, so I've worked around the bolts one by one, just nipping them up each time that little bit more, and as I go around, they just slowly tighten down. Really not putting much force on them at all. Just trying to get them all consistently nipped up. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this week's video there. All pan is back on, all tightened up. Tight is the wrong word, of course. They're just sort of nipped up nicely, very evenly. I've gone round about 4 times now with a spanner as opposed to a socket set, so I can really feel exactly how tight they are. They're pretty loose in fairness. They're certainly not over tight. There's no bulging on the gasket, which is what you look out for. I'm really pleased I went and bought and waited those few days to get the correct bolts. I was a little bit concerned about the one that wouldn't come undone. I thought it was going to snap, so at least they're not used anymore, they're out of the way. Next week I'm going to be doing the oil pump. I've got all the bits for that now. I'll probably put the tensioner back on. I'm really expecting the chap from the company doing the heads to cool. He knows I've got the valve now, so I'm expecting him to call up and probably take a trip over there. That may be a couple of videos time though. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you next week.